Today's topic is how to do the valuation in case of specific situations. Now, I'm not sharing any PPT with you because what I will do is after the session gets over, I will share my PPT with Nitinji or Sandeepji, and they would be able to share that PPT with all of you. So, but I intend to keep this session as interactive. So at any point in time, if you have any doubt, any question, you are most welcome to interrupt me and raise your question, raise your doubt. This session that we have today again is very interesting, and as a practicing a registered valuer, professional valuer, I can tell you that this topic is of great significance for all of us. So once you become a registered valuer, this is one area from where you will have a lot of professional opportunities for growth. So let us begin. So today in this session, we are going to cover 6 different situations which are not the normal situations in which we do the evaluation. Now, what these situations are? These situations are valuation of a distressed company. So how to carry out valuation in case of a distressed company, in case of a startup entity. So if we have to do the evaluation of a startup entity, what should be our approach and how should we go about in doing the evaluation of a startup entity. Then we talk about valuation of a small and medium enterprise. So small and medium enterprise will obviously have its own peculiarities. So keeping those in mind, how do we do the evaluation of a small and medium enterprise? What are the things that we need to take care of? Then we talk about valuation of a cyclical firm. So before we start discussing, when we come to this point, we will understand as to what is a cyclical firm and how it is different from a seasonal firm, because I have seen that there is sometimes confusion in the minds of people between as to which is a cyclical firm and which is a seasonal firm. So we would differentiate between the two and understand as to how to do the valuation in case of a cyclical firm. Then we talk about valuation of investment entities. So as the name suggests, and I'm sure you can very easily figure it out, that investment entities are not the normal manufacturing or service company that we have otherwise. So obviously investment entities are the entities whose job is to make investment. So how to do the evaluation of an investment entity is what we will understand. And finally, the sixth specific situation is valuation of insurance coverage. So how to do the valuation in case we have to take an insurance cover for an asset of our company or of our business. So friends, these are the 6 situations that we will be covering in next about 2 hours in today's session. Before we start looking at all these situations one by one, I would like all of us to be on the same page, and therefore few fundamental things I would like to discuss with you very quickly. Number one, and it's important, friends, that all of us in this respect must be on the same page. It is very, very important, not only as a practicing valuation professional, but also for passing the exam, also for preparing for passing this exam. And I'm sure all of you, the major concern that all of you have in your mind today is how to pass the evaluation exam. And these 5 points that I'm discussing with you will help you to remain focused on your preparation. So the first point is, what is valuation? What is valuation? And remember, the answer is very simple. Valuation is to find value of an asset. That is valuation. And remember, how do we find the valuation? How do we find the valuation? We find the valuation by finding out what is utility of an asset. And please pay attention once again. So how do we find the value, or how do we do the evaluation? We find the evaluation, or we do the evaluation by finding out what is utility of an asset and then converting that utility in terms of money is valuation. Finding out utility of an asset, converting that utility in terms of money is valuation. And why do we have to convert the utility in terms of money? Is because otherwise we can't take a decision, because we have to keep everything on the same platform. And when we convert the utility in terms of money, that is the valuation that helps us to take the decision. So the point number 2 is, what is purpose of valuation? And please remember, purpose of valuation is not to do an Excel exercise. Purpose of a business is to help our client arrive at a decision, and that is the purpose of valuation. So going forward, once you start getting assignments for valuation, always remember, what is your purpose for this valuation? Your purpose for this valuation is to help your client arrive at a decision. So your client may be wanting to purchase a company or sell his company. He may be wanting to make an investment into other entity, or he may be wanting to disinvestment from some entity. Whatever it may be, ultimately he has approached you for the valuation. Why? Because he wants you to help him in taking a decision, and that is the purpose of valuation in every situation. Point number 3, what do we try to achieve while doing valuation? And this is third point number 3 that you must remember. जब हम valuation कर रहे हैं तो हम what are we trying to achieve? And please remember, what we are trying to achieve is to find what is the fair value. So whenever you and I are engaged in doing a valuation, what is that we are trying to find out? We are trying to find out what is the fair value of that asset, and that is what we are trying to find out, and that is what you should always remember. And why is that you need to remember this all the time, that my job as a valuer is to find the fair value? Because if I find the fair value, this fair value will help my client to come to a decision. So if I have to find the fair value, what do I have to do? Answer is very simple. Do everything possible under the sun to ensure that you find the fair value. And what is the advantage of understanding this point, that your job, my job as a professional valuer is to find fair value? The advantage of knowing that your job, my job is to find the fair value, the advantage is then all the doubts that we get in our mind कि कौन सा मेथड यूज करूं, कौन सी अप्रोच यूज करूं, वो सारे मेल्ट हो जाते हैं, वो सारे डिसअपियर हो जाते हैं. क्यों मेल्ट हो जाते हैं, क्यों डिसअपियर हो जाते हैं? अब मुझे समझ गया कि मेरा काम क्या है. मेरा काम है टू फाइंड द फेयर वैल्यू. अब फेयर वैल्यू फाइंड करने के लिए जो भी मेथड बराबर है मुझे उसको इस्तेमाल करना है, जो भी अप्रोच बराबर है मुझे उसको इस्तेमाल करना है. सो देयरफॉर कि मैं कौन सा मेथड यूज करूं, कौन सी अप्रोच यूज करूं, ये सवाल ही बेमानी हो जाता है. ये सवाल की जरूरत ही नहीं है. क्यों? मुझे वो मेथड यूज करना है, मुझे वो अप्रोच अप्लाई करनी है जिसकी वजह से आई एम एबल टू फाइंड द फेयर वैल्यू ऑफ दिस एसेट एज much as that, and that's it, and that is what we should remember. Now, and the last question is which are the methods and the approaches to valuation? That of course we will discuss as we move forward, but for the time being, 4 questions, and I am repeating these 4 questions, friends. And incidentally, this session is being recorded, so after a time you will get the links of this session from the RVO, so you would be able to replay all these recordings and get to hear once again wherever you may have missed something. Of course, you can always ask me a question. So the 4 points that we have discussed at this point in time, that all of us need to remember all the time. Number 1, what is valuation? Valuation is to find worth of an asset. What is the purpose of valuation? Purpose of valuation is to help the client arrive at a decision. What do we try to achieve while doing the valuation? We try to find what is the fair value of that asset, and that is what we try to achieve when we are doing the valuation. So, and what is the process of valuation? Process of the valuation, friends, starts from the purpose or the objective for which you are doing the valuation. So friends, as valuation professionals, arriving at the fair value by using whichever approach or method needs to be used should be our main driver. Now let's move forward and we talk about as to how to go about doing valuation in these 6 specific situations that we have just discussed. तो अब सवाल ये है कि ये जो 6 सिचुएशन जिनके लिए कि हमको वैल्यूएशन करना है, हम कहाँ से स्टार्ट करें? ये 6 सिचुएशंस हैं, वेयर डू वी स्टार्ट इन ऑल दीज 6 सिचुएशंस? सो नंबर 1, first and foremost, whether it is valuation of a distressed company, or it is valuation of a cyclical firm, or it is valuation of a small and medium enterprise, or it is valuation for insurance coverage, or it is valuation for an investment entity, doesn't really matter. In all these 6 situations that we have just spoken, where do we start with? We start with number 1, find out what are the peculiarities of that situation. So अगर आपके पास में, if you get an assignment for the evaluation of a distressed company, what you should do? First find out what are the peculiarities of that situation. So what are the peculiarities of a distressed asset? Distressed asset की peculiarities क्या हैं? List it down. Number 2, what kind of information is available about that situation? So continue with the example of distressed asset. So distressed asset जिसका कि आपको वैल्यूएशन करना है, उस एसेट के बारे में, उस कंपनी के बारे में what all informations are already available. Point number 3, what all additional informations are required for completing the evaluation. And that is the point number 3 that you need to find out and write it down on a piece of paper. So whenever we are doing valuation, remember this is one thing that will always be helpful. So whatever you think, write it down on a piece of paper. So write down क्या information available है और क्या additional information आपको चाहिए. Point number 4, what can be the sources for obtaining these additional informations? So मुझे एक distressed company का valuation करना है, मैंने उसकी peculiarities list out कर ली और उसके बाद में मैंने ये भी मालूम कर लिया कि क्या क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन उसके बारे में अवेलेबल है और उसके बाद में मैंने ये भी मालूम कर लिया कि मुझे कौन कौन सी एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन की जरूरत है. अब चौथा पॉइंट क्या है? फाइंड आउट व्हाट आर द सोर्सेज फ्रॉम वेयर I can get all these informations. Now find out what is the purpose of the evaluation. And point number 6, what is the premise of the evaluation? And point number 7, which valuation approach will be the most appropriate in the given situation. अब देखिए, once you know what is the, and I'm sure this will happen with experience and as you move forward, once you know what is the purpose of the evaluation, you will automatically know what is the premise of the evaluation that you need to apply. And once you are clear about as to what is the purpose of the evaluation, what is the premise of the evaluation, then the question about which approach to use or which method to use will get automatically answered. That means immediately you will know that in this situation, I need to apply the income approach. In this situation, I need to apply the asset approach. In this situation, I need to apply the market approach so that I am able to get the fair value of this asset. And remember, the moment you know which approach you need to apply, automatically you will also understand as to which of the method will be most appropriate in the given situation. So friends, this is how, these are the starting point for valuation of any of these specific situations that you may ever come across in your practicing as a valuation professional. And these 7 points that we have discussed, 8 points that we have discussed, these 8 points will be applicable in all the specific situations. Now with this understanding, let me give you and take you back slightly and refresh our understanding about what are the approaches for the evaluation and what are the methods available under those approaches so as to be on the same page. So what are the approaches for the evaluation? The first approach to the evaluation is market approach. And it is called as market approach because under the market approach, the basis on which you are doing the evaluation is the information about the entity or about the entities which are like the entity for which you are doing the evaluation. You are going to use those market informations, and that is why this is referred as market approach. And I'm sure it must be absolutely clear to you as to why it is known as market approach. Under the market approach, there are certain methodologies. Which are the methodologies? So, in case of in case of a startup, or in case of startup, you can have a method which is known as PORI, price of recent investment. PORI is price of recent investment. That means, in case if this company has got funding, or has done the valuation in the recent past, then what was that valuation? So that is your PORI, price of a recent investment, the price at which a recent investment has been done in this entity is one method for valuation under the market approach. Number two, what you have is PORT. PORT is price of recent transaction. So one is PORI, price of recent investment. एक आपकी कंपनी में जिस कंपनी का वैल्यूएशन कर रहे हो, उस कंपनी में रिसेंटली किसी ने इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है और वो जिस प्राइस में इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है, it is known as PORI. And please remember, this PORI and PORT are very important. And why they are very important? Because invariably you will see that there is a question on what is PORI, what is PORT, and they will simply give you the full form. PORI is price of recent investment. So they will give you price of recent investment and 3 wrong answers. If you understand and remember it correctly, you will immediately get 1 mark correct. Likewise, PORT, price of recent transaction. So something which has been done recently, at what price that transaction was done. So that becomes the basis for the purpose of valuation under the market approach. Then you have comparable companies or comparable transaction. So when you are doing valuation of any asset, of any business, so what you do, you try and find out, has there been any case in the recent past where a similar kind of asset has been valued? So similar kind of company has been valued. So if a similar kind of company has been valued in the recent past, then that valuation becomes your basis for the valuation of your company. That is your comparable company method. Then you got a comparable transaction. So one is the valuation of a company. Second, it can be valuation of a transaction. So just to give you a simple example, if you go to a new city and suppose you relocate yourself to a new city and you are trying to purchase a new house for yourself. So what will you do? So you start looking for new houses and you come across one that you like. You have to fix the price with the seller. So how will you do? You will try and find out as to at what price a similar kind of house was sold or bought by any one of your acquaintances in that area. So that is comparable transaction, a comparable transaction method. So this is how you will do under the market approach. Then of course you have the quoted price, which is the price quoted on the stock exchange. And please remember, as per Ind AS 113, which is on fair value measurement, Ind AS 113 talks in terms of valuation hierarchy. And the valuation hierarchy has got 3 points. Level 1. Level 1, it says that the quoted price has to be used first. Number 2, it says observable market data. Level 2 is observable market data. And number 3, unobservable market data. So quoted price obviously is standing first as far as Ind AS 113 is concerned. So that is your method for the purpose of valuation under the market approach. Then you shift to income approach. Under the income approach, friends, there is a good news. Good news is there are only 2 methods. Unlike in case of market approach where there are multiple methods available, under the income you got only two methods. One is income capitalization method. So what you do in case of income capitalization method, so what you will do is you are doing valuation. And remember, when you are doing valuation of an entity using the income approach, it means by default that you are doing the valuation as a going concern. You are doing valuation as a going concern. So under the income approach, what you do, you find out the average income earned by this entity in last many years, and you can decide as to how many years you must take into account. And you find out you normalize that income. And when I say normalize that income, meaning what? Meaning in those 4, 5 years, 6, 7 years that you are considering for finding out the average income. So in those 6, 7 years, whatever income that must have been earned which is abnormal, remove it. Whatever have been the expenses that were abnormal, remove them. So when I say abnormal, that means these are the income or these are the expenses which were once in a while time. So they will not happen on regular basis. So remove the effect of those income or those expenses, and that is known as process of normalization of the income. Find out the average income, and that's where you can find out the normal average or you can find out the weighted average depending on your judgment. And remember, as a valuer, you are the boss. You take the decision. You have to use your discretion. You have to use your judgment. You have to use your own understanding. तो आप decide करिए, and then you find out the income. Then find out what is the cost of capital of this. What is the appropriate cost of capital for this business, and then capitalize that average income of this entity. Capitalize it by the rate of cost of capital, and with the figure that you get is your value of that business. So this is what is one method. Second method that you have under income approach is known as DCF, discounted cash flow method. So I'm sure you all must be aware. So what you do in case of discounted cash flow method, in case of income capitalization, you use the past data. In case of discounted cash flow method, you use the future data. That means you project the future cash flows of that business and find out the present value of those future cash flows, and total of all those future cash, the present value of all the future cash flows put together is your valuation, is the value of the business that you are trying to achieve. And then you got a cost approach. Under the cost approach, you got a 4 methods. And remember, when you are doing the cost approach, it is understood that you are trying to do the valuation not as a going concern, but on a liquidation basis. So when you are trying to, generally speaking, when you're trying to do the valuation, you will use the cost approach only when the company is going for liquidation. It's not a rule, but general understanding. So under the cost approach, there are 4 methods. Method number 1, book value method. Very simple. What is the book value method? जो कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट है, उस बैलेंस शीट में एसेट्स के जो अमाउंट दिए हुए हैं, लाइबिलिटीज के जो अमाउंट दिए हुए हैं, फ्रॉम द टोटल ऑफ ऑल द एसेट्स माइनस द टोटल ऑफ ऑल द लाइबिलिटीज अदर देन द इक्विटी, what you get in the balance is supposed to be the value of that business, and that is your book value method. So book value simply means pick up the value as given in the balance sheet of that entity on the date on which you are doing the valuation. Then you got a adjusted book value method. So what is adjusted book value method? How it is different from the book value method? Adjusted meaning what? Don't take the values as given in the balance sheet. Adjust those values. Say for example, in the balance sheet, land is appearing at 1 crore, and this land you had purchased 20 years back. Today the market value of this land is 20 crore. So when you are doing the adjusted book value, then don't take the value of this land as 1 crore. Take the value of this land for the purpose of your calculation as 20 crore. Adjust the value as it is applicable. So that's your adjusted book value method. Then you got a replacement method. So replacement method meaning what? Replacement method, if the asset that you are trying to value is to be replaced, and please remember, replaced not with a new asset, replaced with an asset which is in the same condition in which the asset that you are trying to value is. So replacement in the same condition as it is. So you try and find out that is your replacement method. And finally, you got a liquidation method. So liquidation method under the asset approach simply means what? It means the company is going in for liquidation. Company is going to close down. So that means all the assets will need to be sold. So if all the assets are sold, how much money will you get? And how much money will you spend in recovering that money and repaying the liabilities? Whatever is the net remaining, that is your liquidation value. So friends, these are the 3 approaches. And under those 3 approaches, different methods of valuation. So income approach, market approach, income approach, and the asset approach.